Good morning, students. Today we are discussing potentiometer. Potentiometer, basically it is a device that is used to measure unknown EMF or potential difference accurately. Rather, it will give more accurate measurement of potential difference as compared to voltmeter. Reason we will discuss. Now, you can see here, this is again a wooden board over which 1 meter rod, meter scale has been fitted, and here two terminals are provided. One terminal A here, another terminal B here, and a wire, not a one length, but here in this potentiometer here 10 wires have been stretched between A and B. You can see from this point to this end there is one wire, this is 1 meter length, and then from this second point to this second wire will be stretched. Likewise, there are total 10 wires are stretched. Although in our lab, when we do it in the lab, we have potentiometer with 4 wires, or there can be potentiometer with 7 wires. Now, it consists of a long wire, uniform long wire, this is long wire made up of constantan or manganese stretched on this wooden board. Already we have explained why we have taken this alloy, this constantan or manganese, because it should be resistant independent. Its resistance should be temperature independent. Sometimes there can be 4 or more wires, each 1 meter long, fixed parallel to one another and connected in series by these thick copper strips. You can see here copper strips are provided over here. Now its end are connected to binding screws. These are the binding screws. Here you can see binding screws A and B are on the same side, whereas in the meter bridge one screw was on this side, second screw was on the opposite side. So here ends are connected to binding screws A and B. And a potentiometer here, basically when we are connecting in a circuit, there is a primary circuit is required. Why the primary circuit is required? So that current will start flowing in the circuit. So here I have shown here a battery eliminator, one-way key, rheostat. Rheostat means a variable resistance. We can adjust the value of current in a circuit by adjusting the value of resistance from this rheostat. So this is a auxiliary circuit. This is a main circuit for maintaining current in a circuit. Similarly, as we have used a jockey in meter bridge, here also we require a jockey. Now I will explain you its circuit arrangement as in the form of a diagram. This was the pictorial representation that in what form, how this potentiometer look like. So now when we are drawing its circuit diagram, this is terminal A and this is terminal B. These are, I have taken copper strips which are used as for the connections. This is 1 meter long wire, so it is having length 100 meter. Now here length of wire is not 1 meter. Here we have to take either 400 meter, 700 meter or 1000 meter. So second wire will be joined from here to maintain the continuity of current, and hence it will be up to this point, it will be 200 meter length. Basically I am marking the point so that you must know that where to count, how to count. Although when you will see the apparatus there is no marking of 100, 200, 300. You have to learn this point. Now further 300 meter, this will be from 201, 202 to up to here 300 and up to here 400 meter. So here I have shown here 4 wires. This is a meter rod I have shown. Meter scale has been connected here along with the wire. Wire has been connected over it. This wire, this is the 4th wire I can show here so that it will be appearing to be separate. Now this circuit is incomplete without the introduction of a battery. So main auxiliary circuit is required. For it, what I require? A battery eliminator. So here I am connecting positive terminal of the battery, and then it is connected to one-way key, and then one ammeter is also required to measure the current flowing, and then rheostat connected to terminal B. So this is battery, this is key, this is ammeter, whose negative terminal is here, positive terminal is here, because here is the negative terminal of the battery and this is rheostat. Now you can adjust the value of resistance from the resistance box so that suitable amount of current can be flowing in the auxiliary circuit, main circuit. This is also taken as primary circuit. Now here, first of all, we will understand its working principle. As I have already explained, that this consists of this all arrangement is over this all arrangement is over wooden board, as I have shown you in the diagram. Now when I am taking it here, to understand its principle, what I will do, that I will connect one more point, one more terminal to A, that is a voltmeter will be connected here. It means at A terminal there will be two connection, one voltmeter will be connected and another end of voltmeter will be connected to a jockey. This jockey will be placed at any point depending upon where we are measuring the potential drop. So now actually this potentiometer, now we have to understand its working principle. As working principle is based on the fact that fall of potential drop across, fall of potential, not drop, fall of potential across any portion of the wire is directly proportional to length of that portion. Fall of potential across any portion of the wire is directly proportional to length of the wire, provided wire is of uniform area of cross section. Wire is of uniform area of cross section. Reason I have explained in the meter bridge also, because if resistance, if this area will vary, then resistance of the wire will also not remaining to be varying with not varying with the length. As rho is proportional to L, if area is constant, then directly it will vary with the length. So wire should be of uniform area of cross section and a constant current is flowing with the help of main circuit, primary circuit. So basically this is the main principle. So I am repeating the principle, that fall of potential across any portion of the wire is directly proportional to length of that portion of the wire of uniform area of cross section, provided a constant current is flowing through it. See here, suppose, because here we have connected a voltmeter that will measure the potential difference. If I will touch the wire at this point, that means on the first wire having length 100 centimeter maximum. So suppose at this point corresponding to this length, we are measuring the potential drop. If this jockey has to be pressed at this point, not at this point, let it be J1. So here the length will change. Now how to measure the length? You will note this length, that 0, this will be the 0 mark, starting point, 0 to 100, then 100 to this point, maybe 110, 120. So this point will be J1. So you will measure potential corresponding to the 110 centimeter length. It means fall of potential drop, it is proportional to length of the wire. More will be the length, more will be the potential drop. This is the basic principle of potentiometer. So when you are removing this proportionality sign, it will be represented by K, any constant K, and K, this is taken as proportionality constant and it is termed as potential gradient. Gradient is term used for anything measured with respect to length, distance. So here potential gradient, that is represented by K. This is constant. This is proportionality constant. Now if we have to prove it that potential drop is proportional to length of that portion of the wire. So in that particular case, let me take A. A is area of cross section of potentiometer wire. The entire wire which we are taking, that is of uniform area of cross section. And rho, this is the specific resistance of material which we are using. We have taken, that is constantan or magnene or any alloy we are taking whose resistance is independent of temperature. So now, as per Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. And we know that the resistance depends upon length and area. So as R will be equal to rho L upon A. So V is given by I rho L upon A. So now when we are taking that this I is the current, as we have to keep the current constant throughout the circuit, rho, that is specific resistance of the material, which is also constant, A, area of cross section of the wire, that is also kept to be constant. So it means these three factors are constant. So V is equal to Kn. So K is also taken as I rho upon A. And from here we have obtained K is equal to V upon F. So it means this potential gradient can either be expressed in this form or in term of this factor. So now from here what we are concluding, that potential drop is proportional to length of the wire. So this is the basic principle of potentiometer. So sometimes there can be the question, state and prove principle of potentiometer wire. So you have to give the statement of the principle, and after that you have to solve by these steps to get the proof of this. Now here, as we know that V is equal to Kl. So if we plot graph between potential drop and length of the wire, so correspondingly graph between them will be a constant, that is giving you the measure of potential gradient. Now here this K, this is given by V upon L. So SI unit of this potential gradient, it is volt per meter. This is volt per meter. But when we are using it in practical form, practical unit of potential gradient will be volt per centimeter. So now let me discuss what are the applications of potentiometer. First of all, we will use it to determine potential difference. Second, we'll use it to compare EMFs of two cells. And third, this will also use to determine internal resistance of a cell. So let me discuss these applications one by one. Now, to measure potential difference, first of all, if we have to draw its circuit diagram, see, instead of 4 or 5 wires, the simplest way to draw the circuit is, first of all, you will show only one wire. This is a symbolic representation. It's not necessary that you will always show 5 wires, 10 wires. Just you can draw this way also. If you want to draw in that way by showing all the wires, that is also correct, but it is a simplified way. So here we are showing a wire. Here we are taking a wire between the terminals. Actually the terminals are on the same side AB, but here we are showing to get simplification of the concept by drawing the circuit diagram. Now main point, first of all we have to connect it to the main circuit, that is a battery is required, ammeter, then a resistance box or a rheostat you can take. Now as to measure potential difference, we will connect here a resistance, that will be R1, and then it is connected to a galvanometer and a jockey. This is a point on the wire. Now in its parallel, I will connect another cell of EMF E1 and one-way key K1. This is connected to this terminal. So this is the complete circuit arrangement. Now this is the main circuit. See, here, while doing any kind of experiment on potentiometer, provided the positive terminal of the cells must be connected at the same terminal. If the negative terminal of the cell will be connected here, it will not give any working. Potentiometer will not work in that condition. Second point, this main cell must have EMF. This should be greater than EMF of the another cell which we are connected in the circuit. So EMF of primary cell must be greater. So now, first of all, we have to adjust the resistance from the resistance box by closing key K, so the suitable amount of current is flowing in the circuit, and fall of potential across potentiometer wire is greater than potential difference to be measured across this resistance. Now, after doing the connections, first of all, check the correctness of connections using jockey. So this jockey should be touched at two extreme points A and B. So when it is touched at A, deflection in the galvanometer is exactly at the opposite end. So galvanometer deflection needle will be at the extreme point. When the same jockey will be touched at the extreme opposite end, that is B, now the deflection in the galvanometer will not be here, it will be on the opposite side. If this is occurring, it means the connections are correct. So we can proceed for the experiment or to measure potential drop. Now, after that, what you will do, close key K1 so that current flows through R1. Now, therefore, we can measure potential difference to be developed across R1. So now in that case, what we have to do, now with the help of it, adjust the position of jockey on one of the wire, as we have multiple wires. So one of the wire, when we are touching the jockey anywhere and one particular point, if the galvanometer shows no deflection, let this is point J. I have to suppose it that at point J, that corresponding length is L. Maybe 39, maybe 139, maybe 98. So it depends that at what point galvanometer will not show deflection. So actually, what does it mean? That is fall of potential across this portion corresponding to length. It will be equal to potential drop across the resistance R1. So due to it, we can measure potential drop across this portion of the wire. So no current occur when potential drop across R1 is equal to fall of potential across that portion of the wire we are taking. So that potential drop, let it be V dash, it is given by K into L. Now beta, at this point you have to carefully watch it, because this particular application we are using directly in numerical also. So here, as we have to measure potential drop across this portion of the wire where there is no deflection. See, this potential difference and the potential drop across the resistance R1 both are same. So if there is no potential difference, so galvanometer will not measure any amount of current, no deflection of current. So to measure it, first of all, we have to calculate the value of potential gradient. Let me assume that small r, this is the resistance of entire potentiometer wire, which is stretched in between terminals A and B. Let L is the complete length of the wire. Whatever be the length, 400 centimeter, 1000 centimeter. So I am taking it in general form. L is the length of complete wire and R is the total resistance. So now what we have to do here, as we are taking some resistance. So now as we have to measure current, so current through the wire as EMF, supplied voltage E, and the total resistance R is the resistance from resistance box, and smaller is the resistance of the potentiometer wire. So let it be equation 2. Now potential drop across the wire, because wire is having resistance, let it be V1. Wire is having resistance R, because we have to measure potential drop across the length of the potentiometer wire. So this current I multiplied by R. Substituting current here, E upon R plus R into R. So now potential gradient, as potential gradient is given by potential per unit length, as we have taken potential drop as V1. So now substituting the value of this potential drop across the wire, E upon R plus R multiplied by R upon this length. So this is basically the potential drop across the length of the wire. Now potential gradient is given by this. Now what we have to measure? We have to measure potential drop across that portion, that length of the wire where galvanometer was not showing any deflection. So that was V dash. So it was equal to K into L. L was the length of the wire where galvanometer was not showing any deflection. Now substitute this potential gradient here. This is E upon R plus R into R upon L into L. So this is basically the potential drop which we are measuring. Potential difference, potential drop of the wire. Now coming to the next application that is also very important. Comparison of EMF of the cells connected across the potentiometer. So here also we are taking wire of the potentiometer. Again I am representing it only by the single wire, although in the combined form it is a combination of number of wire which is connected in series. So this is a meter scale which is fitted across 1 meter length, 1 length of the wire. Just the scaling I am showing, just the rough sketch. Now here main point, first of all we have to connect it to the circuit as cell, main cell, primary cell. Then it is connected to ammeter to record the current, whatever is the current flowing in the circuit, and then a rheostat which has to be connected through a key and then to terminal B. This is a main circuit which is enabling current to flow in the circuit. Now this you will see that in all the application this part is common. So if you have to learn the diagram, then you have to practice it because this part is common for all the 3 applications. Now for the second application, here I will connect 2 cells whose EMF has to be connected. Let it be E1 and second it be E2. Now the most important point which you have to understand here, these are the 2 cells whose positive terminal are connected to A. I have already told you, I have explained you that positive terminals of the cell must be connected to point A. Now negative terminal has to be connected to two-way key. Two-way key, that means I have shown you one-way key where there was only one gap was there, but in two-way key there will be 2 gaps. In two-way key, here 1, 2, 3 terminals have been given. 1 is connected to E1 and 2 is connected to E2. This is an open. Now again it is connected to a galvanometer and further connected to a jockey to obtain certain balance point. Now, so here positive terminal of the cells we have connected here, negative terminal we are connecting to the terminals 1 and 2 of the two-way key. Now when we are closing key K, suitable amount of current will be flowing in the circuit which is required. Now how to start comparing EMF of the cells? Insert plug in 1 and 3. When basically as this plug when will be introduced in this 1 and 3, when this, like I have shown you initially, this is a kind of plug in two-way key. When such kind of plug will be introduced in 1 and 3, then in that case only E1 cell will come in the circuit. It means this will be a closed circuit. This will not work. This will be open circuit. So what will happen in that case? Now when E1 will be introduced, you have to a position of jockey on the wire that at one particular point where galvanometer show no deflection. This is a main condition. Again this is based upon null deflection method. By introducing E1 in the circuit, slide this jockey slowly on the wire at one particular position where galvanometer show no deflection. Note down that length. Let that length be L1. So if we are taking that particular balancing length is L1 for no deflection position. So in that particular case, EMF of cell E1 is equal to potential drop between A and J. See here as A and J points are the points where corresponding to position of jockey galvanometer is showing no deflection. So corresponding length is L1. So potential drop across this length will be equal to EMF of this cell because this is considered. So E1 will be equal to K into L1, or simply you can write initially E1 is proportional to L1. So from here we can write E1 equal to K L1. Now in the second step, what you will do, see here in the figure, as now you will remove this plug. Now you will unplug it and insert the plug in 2 and 3. So by doing so, E1 cell will be out of circuit and E2 will be in the circuit. E2 will be introduced. This will be the closed circuit and this will be the open circuit. Now in that time, there will be no contribution of E1. So in that case, what will happen? Again, by connecting 2-3 terminal, E2 cell will be in the circuit. Now adjust the position of jockey over the wire where galvanometer will show no deflection. So again, this length will be entirely different from the previous case because here cell is having some another EMF. We don't know what is the EMF, so we can just check it. We can check it. This jockey will be slided at the different lengths. Let this length will be at some other length, some other wire. Let this be J dash. So corresponding to this J dash, now the potential difference between A and J dash will be corresponding to length. Let this length, this complete length will be from this to this point, it will be L2. So now EMF of cell E2 will be proportional to potential drop across length of that portion. So length of the wire is L2. So E2 is equal to KL2. Basically, actually this is a potential drop. So that's why I'm not taking this symbol directly. I'm taking that E2 is equal to KL2. Reason? Because EMF is proportional to, potential drop is proportional to length of the wire. And this is EMF, so K into L2, this is also potential drop. So this is equation 2. Now comparing equation 1 and 2. Take the ratio of E1 and E2. The K factor will be cancelled, but we are getting E1 upon E2 is equal to L1 upon L2. So this is a basic formula for comparing EMF of two cells. When the two cells which has to be connected and whose EMF has to be compared, we will connect within the circuit so that corresponding to different positions of balance length, we will note down that balance length, and hence if the ratio of those lengths are known to us, we can easily calculate the ratio of EMF. So this is very important result. You have to learn it also. So I have discussed two applications, but while doing the experiment on the basis of potentiometer, there are few precautions. As the current in the potentiometer wire from this driving cell must be kept constant. So we have to adjust the current from with the help of rheostat by adjusting the rheostat so that constant current should be produced within this driving cell, from this driving cell. Second point, while adjusting position of jockey on the potentiometer wire, the edge of jockey should not be rubbed continuously. It should not be continuously rubbing, because on rubbing there will be some change in area of cross section of the wire. That will not remain to be uniform. Another point, current in the potentiometer wire from the driving cell should not pass continuously for a longer time. Why? Because when the current is passing for a longer time, it will produce heating effect, and hence due to it resistance of the wire may change. Very important point that I have already discussed, that EMF of this driving cell must be greater than EMF of the cells whose values we are comparing. If this driving cell EMF is less as compared to the cell whose EMF has to be compared, in no condition we can obtain null point. We cannot be able to perform the experiment. Positive terminals of the cell E, E1, E2 all are to be connected at the zero end. Otherwise null point again will not be obtained. So potentiometer method, it is a null method and it is very accurate method. So it is better as compared to voltmeter. So why it is better? Because as at null deflection method, it is not drawing any current because current is zero. So as it is not drawing any current, so no potential drop, and hence it can measure EMF of an open circuit. That means whatever EMF is there, it can measure accurately. But in the voltmeter always measure potential difference. It measures potential difference, terminal potential difference in a closed circuit. So it means certain current will be passing through it, and hence the measurement of the potential drop will be always less than EMF. So actually the potentiometer method is giving you more accurate measurement, but voltmeter we usually use because it is handy, it is small, we can move it to any place. Potentiometer will be required at the places where we have not to rely on voltmeter because there is a potential drop across its resistance. So we have to use potentiometer only for the condition where correct measurement is required, most accurate measurement is required. For all other cases we use voltmeter. So today I have covered potentiometer and its two applications. One application that I will cover in my next video. Practice all the concepts thoroughly. Most important point in potentiometer is that you have to draw, you have to practice its diagram first. First of all, practice diagram. Second point, its working. And third point, its formulas which we are getting. So practice these 3 points as working and principle of potentiometer and the two applications which I have discussed today. Thank you. Have a nice day.